I've implemented a new facility or a new feature in the upcoming version 2.6.5. Um, the feature is to increase the bounding box when you load multiple volumes, and then align the volumes within that bounding box. Now, the reason this facility is implemented is basically to give you an ability to visualize the overlap between two data sets. Normally what happens is when you load two data sets, let me just load here the two data sets that we want to see the overlap for. These data sets are loaded in such a way that they are aligned at the center of the bounding box. So what I want to do is I want to align these two volumes so that they have a maximum overlap. Now, one way to do that is using bricks, where you can set the transfer functions for the two volumes in set 0 and 1, and then set 2 and 3, and then move the bricks accordingly. Now what I have done here is given the ability, let me just go back and increase the bounding box and reload the volumes. So the new option is, the new command is scale scale bounding box. So let me just scale this bounding box by say 10%, so 1.1. So this is the information for the bounding box, scale bounding box. So let me increase the bounding box by say 10%. Now these changes will happen only when I reload these datasets. So let me just load that. I'll go back and load these two volumes. And then press F2. So this bounding box is now increased slightly. It's increased basically by a factor of 10. Now what this allows me is to move these volumes with respect to each other. Now 265 has yet another command added to it. It is called volume offset. Let me just change the colors of these data sets. So what I want to do is I want to move this red data so that it can have a maximum overlap or reasonably good overlap with the white data set. Let me change the camera type to orthographic, and in the command, so these are the new features here, the new commands, the bounding box scale and the volume offset. So in order to change the volume offset, it's vol offset, then give the volume number. In this case I want to change red, which is volume number 1, and I want to change by these parameters here. So let me change it to 0, 0, 0. Default is 0 0.5, 0 0.5 and 0 0.5, which is basically the center. So if I change that, then this is where your volume would move. So it would be offset, and it will be put basically at one end of the box. Now we want to move it up here. So these are the new offsets. So again, let me show you just different values. What do they give you? So 0, 0, 0 is basically aligned, so that's one corner here. So that data set from the center will move here, then 1, 0, 0 is here, 1, 0, 1, 0. So it is I just have to recalculate the transfer function. It's moved up here. So what we want to do is align with the white one. So this one is about here. This is where it aligns the best here. You can move it down, so down a bit, 0.5, 0.8, 7, slightly down a bit more, 8. Yeah. So this is now reasonably aligned. Let me just switch back to perspective projection. And now we can use mix color to see the overlap. So mix color, and that will show us the overlap between just turn off the so this is the overlap. So white one is the original one, and we have textured the overlap of our volume, the second one. And now if I change the move the second volume, which I can do here, let me show you. So volume offset again, 0.5, say 0.5, 0.5. That was the original offset here. And then the new one, 0.5, 0.8, 0.8 is this one here. So this is how we can visualize the overlap between two different volumes with this new functionality, scale BB, so scale bounding box, and then volume offset.